A very healthy and safe morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the session. BA History Program, second semester, session number 26. I am Sudhaji, Assistant Professor, Department of History, GFGC, Ripanpet. In the 25th session, we have learnt about the introduction to Mughal Empire, right? Do you remember the founder of that dynasty? Excellent. Your answer is exactly right. It is none other than Babur. Let us, in this session, learn about early life of Babur. Before beginning the session, I earnestly appeal to you not to listen and learn this topic for the examination's sake. Try to adopt the qualities of Babur which I am going to explain. Hope you will not disappoint me. Students have got a bird's eye view of significance of Mughals regime in the Indian history. They had a glance of nature of Mughals government, official language, capitals, religions, and important rulers. Learning objectives of today's session to enable the students to learn about the ancestors of Babur, to make them to understand the early attempts of Babur to emerge as a ruler, to develop the skill of locating the places captured by him in his 5 expeditions on India and the outline map of undivided India. Learning outcomes. At the end of the session, students will be inspired by the personality of Babur. They too will face the challenges of life like him. They too will prepare their family tree. They will learn the skill of cartography, that is, the study of map, make use of maps and atlas. They will recall the different human races like Proto-Australites, Mediterraneans, Mongolites, Aryans, Dravidians, etc. To begin with, Babur was born on 14th February 1483 in Fargana. His full name is Zahir Uddin Muhammad Babur. His mother was Kutluk Nigar Khanum. His father was Umar Sheikh Mirza. Babur descended from 2 warriors, Timur the Turkish from his father's side and Genghis Khan, Mongol from his mother's side. He belonged to the Chagatai Turkish race called Mughal. It reveals that interreligious and inter-race marriages were common during those days. You can also prepare a family tree like Babur's, including your ancestors. Let us move on to know the personality of Babur. Babur was a warrior, a Pratima Yodha, a chieftain, a sportsman, a man of indomitable courage. Dhairyam Sarvatra Sadhanam, an ambitious man, a man of attractive personality that ever graced Asiatic throne. If you want to be like Babur with an attractive personality, you should be mentally healthy, physically fit, and spiritually strong. Early life of his Babur, he devoted time to learning. He mastered in Turki language, his mother tongue. He was a precocious boy. His faculties were so highly developed that he could easily appreciate the significance of political events and judge human character. He had also well versed in military training and trained in administrative skill, war, and diplomacy. Therefore, he has been called as an attractive personality that ever graced Asiatic throne. Let us focus on his early invasions. After the death of his father in 1494 AD, Babur succeeded to the throne of Fargana at the age of 11. You may be astonished. A boy of 11 age became a king of Fargana. There are such people in history who have achieved great things, extraordinary things at a very young age. Among them, I would like to mention few. Alexander the Great, who became king at the age of 16, and at the age of 18 he began expanding his empire. Similarly, Akbar became emperor at the age of 13. John of Arc turned a war around at the age of 17. You can also make such lists who have achieved extraordinary things at a very young age. Will you? You too can become like them. He made a big conquer Samarkand from his uncle as it was Taimur's ancestral seat. He won twice but lost it no time on both the occasions. You can raise a question, what was the secret of Samarkand? What made him to try for its conquest? Let me tell you, Samarkand was the capital of Taimur. He had a great fascination for the ambitious young ruler of Fargana. It was a great city full of mosques, colleges, baths, buildings, and charming gardens. It had been the capital of his great ancestor Taimur, who was Babur's ideal man. Hence, Babur wanted to sit on his great ancestral throne in his capital. He tried twice, that is in 1497 and in 1502, but he lost it later, though he acquired initially. After failing in his attempt to capture Samarkand, he became a fugitive, that means Deshabrasta, for the third time and he had to spend the next 3 years in hiding, destitution, and misery. He had no territory, no home, and only a handful of followers. Sometimes he had to beg for his bread from village folk, to go barefooted and travel through dangerous hill tracks in cold weather, which caused considerable hardship to himself and his followers as well. But as he tells in his memories, he always retained buoyancy of spirit, even in the midst of greatest sufferings, never gave way to despair. He continued his sport and fun as usual. I too want that you should also be courageous as Babur, to fight the battle of life. Will you? I hope you will. Now, let us move on to Kabul. What made Babur to move from Fargana to Kabul? It's quite interesting to learn. Let us know about it. In 1504 AD, he crossed the snowy Hindu Kush mountain and captured Kabul. Babur captured it from Mohim the Argan, who had displaced Abdul Razak. Babur writes in his memories that without a height, without an effort, and by Almighty God's bounty and mercy, I have obtained and made subject to me Kabul and Ghazni and their dependent districts. During the next 6 years, he increased his army and took steps to consolidate his hold on his new kingdom. In this way, he gained a new kingdom and re-established his fortune and remained there for 20 years. In 1505 AD, because of the low revenue generated by his mountain kingdom, he began his first expedition to India. In midst of it, in 1507, he assumed the title of Padishah or Emperor, abandoning that of Mirza by which his ancestors were known. And he also captured Kandahar in the same year, that is in 1507. In 1511, he captured Samarkand again, but he lost it for the third time. After having a firm foundation in Kabul, he focused on India. Like earlier invaders, Babur was also attracted by the fabulous wealth of India. And chaotic political conditions prevailed in India, and temptation of Babur to acquire enormous wealth of India, legal claim on account of Taimur's invasion on our country, insufficient income from Kabul, fear of Babur regarding Uzbeks' attack on his empire, his ambition of capturing territories, and invitations from some of the rulers of India like Daulat Khan Lodi, Alam Khan, Rana Sanga. All this made him to focus his expedition on India. Babur ruled over Badakhshan, Kandahar, Kabul, which did not yield sufficient income for the requirements of his empire and also his army. After his third loss of Samarkand, he focused on North Indian conquests. He came up to River Chenab in 1519 AD. He started for Lahore and Punjab. He met Daulat Khan Lodi. You can try to locate these places on the outline map of Asia, undivided India. Regarding expeditions, Babur had conducted 5 expeditions to India between 1519 to 1525 AD. During these expeditions, he learned the use of tulugma, a war technique about which we will learn later. From the Mongols and Afghans, he learned tactics of laying ambuscade. From the Persians, he acquired the use of firearms. From Turkish kinsmen, he learned the effective use of mobile cavalry. He got Turkish artillerymen also. Besides the school of adversity, he had learned the qualities of endurance, patience, cool courage, and contempt of death, which made him a veteran leader of men, never losing hope and faith even in the most trying circumstances. Babur had a number of pieces of cannons, casques, and muskets manufactured for the use of his army. He, in this way, came to possess a powerful park of artillery which largely accounted for his success in India. Thus, his career in Central Asia prepared him for the role that he has destined to play in Indian history. Meanwhile, he was invited by Daulat Khan Lodi, Alam Khan, and Rana Sanga too, where he dethroned Ibrahim Lodi in favor of his uncle Alam Khan. Babur took this opportunity to invade India. Babur left for Kabul after keeping a small contingent at Lahore and Sialkot. After his departure, Daulat Khan conquered Sultanpur, Sialkot, and Dipalpur. Babur defeated Daulat Khan and his son Dilwar Khan. They both of them begged apology. Now, a war between Babur and Ibrahim Lodi became inevitable. They met at Panipat to test their luck, about which we are going to learn in our next session, which is going to be very exciting. Wait and watch. Let us summarize the personality of Babur. Babur, who was initially a warrior chieftain, became the founder of Mughal dynasty. The success of Babur was the product of hard driving active leadership. Do you agree with me? What do you say? Let us recapitulate before end of the session the main points once again. Early life of Babur, his personality, early expeditions, 5 expeditions on India, early invasions in his native and Kabul, early attempts of Babur to emerge as a ruler. The books I referred to prepare my talk are Medieval History of India by J.C. Agarwal, History of Medieval India by L.P. Sharma, Advanced Study in the History of Medieval India by J.L. Mehta. I hope all of you would have amazed by learning about the elaborate preparation of Babur before coming to India. Unless you revise, you will forget. Hence, I would like to assign a work which you have to do at home. What are the factors contributed Babur to lay the foundation of Mughal Empire in India and changed the destiny of India by his deeds? Discuss. Thank you, one and all.